Freak the funk out. Say what? Freak the funk out. Freak the funk out. She. Freak the funk out. Freak the funk out. One more time. Freak the funk out. Freak the funk out.
Hello friends. Welcome to our Speech Freak Radio first episode ever. And we have a lovely soul and lovely aunties from Street Kai, and we are freaking out and having a fun together. And let's talk together.
What a great welcome. Thank you, Rupal. Hey everyone, I'm Aunty Tracey from Street Kai. And I'm Pip from Street Kai. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. That was a lot of fun. So great to be here. Thank you for inviting us to be on the first episode. This is Dudley. He's part of our team. He's a very big part of our team. So he's also going to be in the interview as well. So I started Mala Night in the winter of 2017. It's a very short, brief story. 2 9-year-olds had seen a homeless woman on the streets in Dunedin. They sat their mother and I down and said, "What are you going to do about it, Auntie?" And it was a call, if you like, for my soul, for my spirit to step up into a space that I wasn't really comfortable with. And our little team of 4, which was the mother of the 2 9-year-olds, we joined a gentleman called Pierre at the bus stop, which is the West Street bus stop here in Tauranga. And we've just grown from strength to strength from there. And I'll let Aunty Pip continue from there. Gosh.
That's right. You say that. Just leave it. Yeah. So, what do? We provide. I don't know. It's a long journey. So this is heading into our 4th winter, and probably up until February, we could have 100, 120 people at the bus stop for it's a community gathering. We have Kai, but we also just talk to them, and we've developed relationships with a lot of the people over the last few years, haven't we?
Absolutely.
And the COVID journey changed things, and we're moving in a different direction, or trying to move in a different direction, because COVID got a lot of them into motels, and this is the rough sleepers, which back in March, I think the figures were there were 92 rough sleepers on the street in Tauranga CBD and at the Mount, and that's a 5% reflection of what the definition of people who are living without homes, so homelessness is, and so that's a lot of people that are struggling, and so most of those went into motels over the last. Well, they're still there, so we have to change what we're doing because we have to meet their needs in a better way. Rather than just be this meal on the street that people come and feed, it's actually where's their wairoa, the spirit, where are they at, what do they need, how can we be more helpful for them? Which the best way for us, which Trace and I are really good at, is actually asking them what they need.
Obviously, because now they have to move forward. What next?
That's right.
And
that's
after
right.
this journey, and they...
I mean, we're quite unique in the way that we do it, in that we do know they have addictions, we do know that they're struggling, we do know that they have histories of violence or sexual abuse or whatever that is, but we never tell them what they should do.
No.
Our biggest thing is that we treat them as equals.
That's right.
Yeah, obviously, it's them. It's them, not
Absolutely.
like, It's a journey of them.
Yeah.
And we can't do that, like we can't ask them what they want to do.
That's right.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I think a lot of success of Street Kai or Malo Night, as we're known more in our community, is that when we originally started, nobody had actually engaged with the core of sleepers. So we started these conversations, which started with wonderful handshakes and eye contact and greetings, which a lot of them had never experienced, that kind of warmth and that kind of connection. So originally it was built around, a hot cuppa and a kai, which is to share food together, but it was also built around that handshake and how you doing, my brother and my sister, a smile, a connection. And what we noticed, and Aunty Pip's been on this journey on this waka, and Rupal as well, and many others, that the heads slowly came up, the eyes met, and what we were dealing with was a whole community that had incredible shame and incredible whakama. They were embarrassed that they were living in tents and living under our bridge and living in cars and absolutely terrible conditions. And here we are in a first world country, a very wealthy first world country, with these circumstances. And I understand there are still currently 42,000 people in New Zealand homeless as we speak here today.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's
And the other thing is,
actually.
because of the fact that we've
Incredibly sad.
Yeah. the fact that we engage with them means that I think we marginalise them less.
That's right.
In that, because, and like, I mean, I live in the CBD, and so I do see a lot of them all the time. I have done over the last few years, but I will always talk to them, which I think is a really big part of it.
Yes.
And you know, and I've observed many people's reactions to me talking to someone who appears to be, you know, gosh, well, why would you talk to them? I can't really think of a word to describe them that's not, you know, I mean, I see them as a person first, and
that's right.
But you know, you can tell, you can feel people going, oh, but you don't. They might be. They're only after your money, or you know, they're just going to spend it on drugs and alcohol, or you know, blah. And I go, well, actually, that's their choice. They're still humans. They're still people.
Yeah,
they're people who have
humans.
issues like the rest of us. Yes.
Totally.
And I think it's really interesting thing in that for me, I'm wanting to change our language. Around homelessness.
Yes.
I have a background in nursing and from the 80s, so I've been doing that way too long. And you know, we really advocated for people's human rights in the 80s because HIV was really prevalent, you know, coming into London, which is where I was nursing. And we really advocated, said, no, you actually cannot do this to this person. They are a person, not for you to say, well, they might have HIV, therefore we've got to know. And so actually, it's like anything. You could be diabetic or asthma, you know, but you are a person living with asthma or diabetes or with HIV. Or, you know, you are a person who cycles and you drive a car and you walk along the road. So therefore you are a person who has no home.
As
we would, as I would, we consider it. You are a person first. And so if you put the person into the sentence at the beginning, I hope that raises people's awareness that actually you're dealing with people, not homelessness.
That's right.
Yeah, so there's a long,
It's easy to tag it.
I agree. I agree with you because it's a stigma, judgment, and people. And society needs to change, like their mindset. Like,
Absolutely.
It's so it will take time, but people like you already started. So that's a really amazing, like, no?
We were saying earlier how proud we are that we hang in because it's a very challenging community to work with and to walk beside, and we own that, you know, and we're very proud of that we've hung in there. We're at the beginning of our 4th year shortly. We do everything out in the open on the street. I'm extremely proud of that because it's very transparent. You will see us out there working, doing the mahi, as they say, and I think there's a lot of, you're talking about changing the conversation, is the fact that people see us out there. We like to use the term in the mix, which means we're out in the community. We're dealing with every walk of life, from young people to elders, every culture you can envision, every background or circumstance. And we started very simply, but only people allude to what we're moving into. We started with, you know, would you like kai, would you like more kai? And the reason we started that simply was that it took all the judgment away. All the things, that stigma wasn't there, that discrimination. It was just, come and have a kai, my brother, or come and have a hot cuppa. And it took away all that other stuff. And that's genuinely how I'm very proud that we built it literally step by step, and actually organically, from that kaupapa, which was so simple, wasn't it? And so when you work with no judgment, you know, when you're in a really complex community with no judgment, it is actually an extraordinarily beautiful thing to be part of. And I'm immensely proud of all our aunties for that, and our community.
And it's amazing work you all aunties are doing, and I'm appreciating that. And you're pushing the boundaries. Because sometimes you feel like, like the formal things and mainstream things that drag you and that pull you down, not to do. Oh, people will say this. Oh, people will, they don't talk with me if I do this. So, so you are amazing and doing amazing freaking work. I must say.
Thank you. We try, which we advocate a lot
Yes.
for the peeps, for
Yes.
whenever they need their voices. I mean, we were sort of part of an instrumental group that got a 5-metre begging and rough sleeping bylaw that was passed by Tauranga City Council. Was it in April 2018?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that
really hard.
And we worked really hard to get that revoked, and we did.
And we did.
Yeah, and well done.
I think that the advocacy part is becoming more to the fore with us.
Yes.
Yes.
Voices.
And I think particularly for Trace and I can't speak for the rest of the aunties, we find it really difficult to work within the system. Not because we don't like it and we don't understand that it needs to be there, and the people who do fabulous jobs within it, but because it gives you, it tightens what you can do, and it limits and restricts us.
That limits your like strength, and like your inner strength.
Because we had an idea of working towards a wellbeing hub, and I mean this is pre-COVID, and all of those things have changed now, I guess. You know, where basically like a one-stop shop, but a place where we were, and all of the community could come to us. And they needed mental health, or they needed everything else coming from that. But we want to do it the way we want to do it, and if you could then approach the institutions and the system, then it has to have this and it has to have that, and you've got to do this and you've got to do it that way.
Papers, lots of paperwork. You have to do this, you have to do this. You haven't done this, you have to do this. So that's really, even I am also not into that, because I always struggle.
Yes, that's right.
And so it's always the struggle. It's lots of people. It's not only us, but it's a struggle. And
it is.
And unfortunately, we are living in the system.
Yeah.
But the people like us, and somebody has to come forward and do something different out of the box.
That's right. Yeah, and that's what we're known for, is for doing things very organically out of the box. And because we're known as the aunties, and I mean that's, people approach us, oh hey auntie, and auntie is all cultures, and there's a real warmth. Yeah. There's a real warmth in all cultures with the word auntie. You know, there's a casualness, a warmth with it, and formalness, and people feel. We hope that they can approach us with that, because it takes away all the, we're not, as Pippa said, we're equal, we're equal with. We don't want to have power over. We don't want to be in a position, you come to my meal. It's like, hey, my brother, come and have a kite, come and have a hot cuppa. And we hope that really translates and that they feel that. Our understanding is that that is how they feel. And, we can have many, many people join us, can't we?
We can, absolutely, yeah. And so with that, we're Trace and I are moving into a different space, and that we're trying to set up an advocacy service.
Advocacy service.
Yeah, which
that's the next step.
Yeah, and that's evolving. So at the minute, for want of a better word, we're trying to run a pilot to see how that needs to be.
Yes.
And I think our sense is it needs to be mobile.
Yes.
In that it's not
and I believe
you
that.
come to this address and da. It's actually, we can be here at this time and there at that time, which is still a little limiting, but it's still got that possibility.
It's a good initiative, and people feel inclusiveness, and people open up. If you sit in the office and that formal, then sometimes people feel uncomfortable.
That's
during
Totally.
So I totally believe in that what you are doing, and mobile advocacy services is the good initiative, and keep doing it and start. You already started, so that's a really amazing.
And we love going to the peeps' spaces, enjoying them in their space. And you are exactly right, Rupal. They're very comfortable and they relax and they do genuinely share, because we're meeting them where they are, not where we expect them to be.
To come and meet us.
In very formal setting. And often the peeps will say to us, Auntie, keep it low key. Yeah. And so that's exactly we try to meet them in their spaces of low keyness, and just make it but the key to everything, and I think Aunty Pip would agree, and Aunty Rupal here, is the listening, the deep listening. We don't have any tablets out, we don't have any computers out, we're like storing it in the old auntie brains.
That's what the people want.
Because to be seen, to be
listen.
to be listened to.
Listening to them.
We know personally, that we want to be validated with what we say. Somebody's listened and
That's
acknowledged what we've said. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
And they're already marginalised, and there's so many people telling them what they think they should do, that you shouldn't be.
Yeah, that's another. Yeah.
That's
You
right.
should, you should go and get a job. Well, actually, it's never that simple.
No.
I mean, everything's
It's not simple.
It's not simple for us.
Finding a job and but
It's very
it's
complex.
better to talk with them what they are, what's their strength,
That's
what they want,
That's
what they are good at,
Yeah.
what they want in their life.
Yes.
Then it's really, then they feel trusted, they feel
Yeah.
comfortable, inclusiveness.
Yeah.
That's amazing
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. A lot of we believe our team's strength is that very organically over the 3 years, as I say, heading into the fourth, is we've built that trust very slowly.
Yes, that's very important.
It is very important, and some of those things are very simple by just absolutely being our authentic selves. And we really believe by being our authentic selves, they've been allowed to be their authentic selves. And I can honestly tell you, and I think these two beautiful aunties would agree, it is a meal of unique individuals, our community meal, which also includes the aunties are unique and individual. And I think they've also learnt a lot from us about being that, because we don't go down there, and they have incredible radars. They're very street smart. They bloody know who the fuck is insincere, and I'm genuine. And I can genuinely tell you, that person will never last. They'll never come back to Mother Night, because the people are going, hey auntie, he's only in it for his ego, But they are so incredibly street smart, and I love them for that. That's one of my things I really enjoy.
Yes.
But those aunties that are genuine, you see the resonance. There's a resonance there because the peeps feel safe. There's a trust built there. And can I say that's over a long period of time, and I'm meaning years. And I think Aunty Pip and Aunty Rupal would have.
And the fact that we're consistent. We've missed 2 Milo nights in 3 years.
2 Milo nights in 3 years.
So that's 2 Mondays, and that includes whether it's Christmas, New Year, Easter, good, whatever.
And
every 52 Mondays a year.
And over summer, Aunty Pip Dudley is part of the team, and Ian and myself, we up it to maybe 2-3 times.
Whatever. We try and fill in the gaps from because a lot of the other agencies that do meals stop over Christmas, and that's fair enough. They're perfectly allowed to go and have a break. So we know that if they haven't eaten from Monday to the following Monday, then we
So we step up and we'll do perhaps a Wednesday, and we create it as we go. And also and I know Aunty Pip and you guys know this, around this time they really get the feels, what we like to call the emotions. They miss their whānau. And they lead up. We have lost men to suicide at this time. They have taken their lives, some of our community. They miss their children, their mokos, and so forth. And so a lot of that awhi that we choose to step into that space of not just a Monday Malana, but a Wednesday, is because at that time is a time when we can genuinely lose our men. We've had 3 pass, I think, of suicide. We've had, and this gives you a lot of our own feels and emotions and commitment and dedication to stick at it. So,
we do, and it's just stickability,
old school
equality,
working
towards equity, but that's always nothing.
It's so true.
But it's a good start, because if somebody has to do start something like that, because I can people are struggling at the moment because of the COVID. It's all people's life changed
upside down,
and people struggling finding their job, and everything is going downwards for everyone. But during that time, you are the strength of that the people who are going through this, and especially people who are so that's amazing. And
we were very proud of that. That we were able to I'll let Pip fill it in, but we were able to be an essential service right through COVID in the CBD. We were on the street, particularly Aunty Pip and Dudley, every day.
We did. Well, we still did. Because it was a state of emergency, so we were under the auspices of civil defence, because they were in charge of all of that. But we were really only allowed to do Mondays as half an hour, and we could give them a bag of food or whatever, and they had to leave. And that was it. And you know, and there were five of us aunties that did
And
it, and we could gauge it, and we set it up. They, you know, the guys knew the rules, and they were really good. They were really, really good. We also set up, which is something we're thinking of continuing, isn't it?
Yes.
Is a community notice board, which sounds really old-fashioned and non-technical. And essentially, we stuck a massive piece of cardboard up on the back of the bus stop. It was massive. So that we said, anybody, you know, for anybody who hasn't got a phone, you write what you need
Right,
here.
yeah.
And because I was walking Dudley and I lived there, literally I could check it every morning.
You could.
And take a note of it, tick it, I took a photo with my phone or whatever, so that we could action that if we needed to. It also had, the healthline numbers and suicide numbers, and all of those things on there if they needed them, if they had phones, and also the other community meals that were, whatever they were doing was also part of that as well.
And the feedback from our community was they loved it.
Yeah, they did.
They felt connected. You know, Aunty Pip would check it, that they would see, they could tell that she had checked it daily. You know, there's security in that, there's safety in it, there's a sense of stability.
And they didn't know they didn't know how to behave in it. They didn't know whether they thought they just had to stay in their motel rooms and they weren't allowed anywhere. And we said, no, we're allowed to be here, so you're allowed to come. You can walk, you can catch the bus. You are absolutely allowed to come to mine at night. You know, you would have to go to the supermarket, you know, you are allowed out of that. You know?
So sometimes they feel like we are prison like feeling like,
Yes.
what they are going to do now with us. That fear. But so and during that time you did this.
And it wasn't breaking their bubble.
That's right.
And that was the thing that we were told, we can't break our bubble and we have to stay here. We go, well, look, if you're hungry and you need food, and it's Monday, come. Because we did, you know, we've always kept it out in the open at the bus stop in the Amazon car park, because it also brings it into the eye of the general public. And so there's a real part of making that uncomfortable for everybody else. So, you know, and these are part of your community. These people are part of your community. You know, let's change it. It shouldn't be happening in New Zealand. You know, New Zealand's too small a country.
Too small, and when we came to New Zealand first, there were no like.
Same for me when I came in the
and it's now suddenly it's happening. So I would say system failure.
Absolute system failure. Absolutely.
People, whatever they want to believe that what I'm saying. I don't care, but it is a system failure, I can say.
Absolutely.
And
system societal failure.
Societal needs to change their mindset, and so it's absolutely, society needs to change certain things. But anyway, we are living in that kind of society. But we are out of society, pushing all the boundaries, freaking.
Nothing sexy, Mama.
Yes,
I'm not saying anything to you.
It's swearing. And all the swearing. And all the streets know. So, you know, and I can walk along even now in the morning and I walk past the bus stop and then, you know, and Dudley would go, hey Dudley! Like, and other people look at them like,
that's right. And you know, Mennonite continues to grow. We've got some wonderful medics, which are wonderful.
Yes.
They've been an absolute godsend for our peeps, that they feel comfortable to speak about, you know, what's happening in their journey, and the confidence that gives them, I feel, and building trust with our medics. We have a lovely barber, Sam. He comes when he can. He lives in the Lower Kaimai. When he's able, they absolutely adore him. His barber's chair becomes a real sacred space where they feel also comfortable to obviously share their journey that they may not share with aunties, which, you know, especially
because they can share with
that's right, it's very comfortable. And so we slowly continue to build, if you like. But it is changing, and I'll let Aunty Pip talk about it. We believe about 7 to 10 maybe on the street at the moment. Which is a huge change from 90 plus.
It is a
huge change before COVID. So.
And we don't think there won't be more, because obviously from what we hear, being actually in a motel is quite harmful for them. Totally. You know, you've got 4 walls. You've got no space. You've got certain rules and regulations. You still have your own stuff going on that you've got to live with yourself, and all of those sorts of things. So some of them do struggle.
Yeah, absolutely.
And come back out of the motels and are back
Absolutely.
on the street. That doesn't mean they can't go back into the motels. I
Motels,
believe.
yeah.
But again, it's all that, and it's changing for them. And I think with the general COVID situation, as you were referring to earlier, that everybody's going to be struggling.
Yes.
It's going to be a different need. And a community and a community meal that is feeding people who are struggling with homes and who are dealing with poverty is very different.
Yes.
Different.
To the
That's different, yeah.
It's different, and that's not. It's not really what our original kaupapa was,
That's right.
and I'm not sure that that's really what we want to be. And I've used this term because I'm English and I've read Dickens. So you have that soup kitchen thing of people coming along because they're perceived as needy, which is an awful word to use anyway. And that you just give them food, and that's perpetuating a cycle, and that's what we want to stop.
Yes.
Yes.
When that's a work in progress, because it doesn't mean you just say, right, well, from next week we're not doing Milo night.
No.
It just means we reevaluate every week that we do as to
That's
how
right.
we just say, right, well, where are our skills best utilised for the people that we're still seeing who've been at community for 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah.
So that's hence the advocacy and taking it into a mobile space.
Yeah.
And into a daytime space as well.
Yes.
As well and evenings, and of course winter evenings are darker.
Yes,
So that's-
darker,
so-
yeah.
So and also the motels have been great. People saying, I can close my door, I'm safe. That level of anxiety and tension
Absolutely.
that they all carried in February has gone. Because they know where they're going.
Yeah.
They know that they can lock their door and their stuff
That's
doesn't
right.
get stolen, taken away from
Yeah.
the council or whatever and get dumped.
So that's a huge change.
It's a huge change.
So now we need to do some more creative job opportunities.
Yes, and
Creating opportunities for them to moving forward.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
And-
what are their needs and all.
And it doesn't mean that they're not looked after either. Because
Yeah,
there are
yeah,
agencies
yeah.
of them who do
Absolutely.
support them in their way.
They
But that's still not necessarily the way that
they want.
Right.
Yeah. So there is a gap.
Yes.
Oh,
There
totally.
is still gap.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so we just keep plugging away.
yes. So that's cool.
that's totally.
At least we can express our
Yeah.
views and express ourselves what
Absolutely.
we were doing, and I'm very, very lucky to be part of the conversation.
We
and
feel
it's-
too.
And what we really want to do, which is I'm using a phrase of a very good friend of ours, Jackie Clark, who says, you've got to fuck shit up.
Yeah.
And that's what really we want to do.
And that's what they say, Auntie's going to fuck shit up.
Yep.
To get stuff.
Shit up, fuck
And
shit
change the
up.
conversation, change
We record
the
this.
awareness. Anyway, thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah.
This was wonderful.
Great, thank you.
To fucking shut up.
We might give you a good phrase.
Fucking shit up.
And that's true. We met her
Yeah.
last year.
We did,
And
yes.
she heard about us because her actual gig is also called the Aunty.
Yeah.
It's spelled differently. And our lovely Hazel
Hazel.
introduced us, and she kind of always said to Hazel, and I'm not sure why obviously these aunties already know what they're doing, but she did give us that phrase of fucking shit up. And so she always quietly encourages us, because we become
Hazel
friends.
is a good. She came for our video. No, she came, and I spent quite a few like in hot pool at the back. I came to see her. Yeah, but she was such a cool.
Freak the funk out. Say what? Freak the funk out. Freak the funk out. She.